Am I in focus? Because sometimes it really is hard to tell. Okay, so I just read Borne. A couple weeks ago I finished Dead Astronauts. And remember I found out that it was actually a sequel, and I was like, oh, no wonder everything was so confusing. Well, I think it actually turned out, so after I finished Borne, which was the first in the series, Dead Astronauts is technically a prequel. So it kind of did like the Star Wars thing where it comes out last, but it's first. So I inadvertently did it properly. I don't know. But there were some things that revealed themselves that, like, if I had read Born first, some of the things in Dead Astronauts would have made more sense. But I like the order that I read it in, and I don't think there is a right or wrong way. Also, I'm starting this drawing now, and I mean, I'm starting to draw. Here's the drawing, but we are at a boring part of this drawing, so I'm going to try to be super interesting with my words because the drawing itself is pretty much just solid dots right now. You're welcome. Okay, so Born. This book almost made me cry. I don't remember if other books that I've talked about have made me feel that way, but it was just so cute in a way. Like, I don't want to spoil too much, but just like, I mean, I don't think it's spoiling too much to say that Born is what in the book they call biotech, and he's not technically a human, but he possesses the ability to think, rationalize, and learn the same way a human does. So at the beginning, he's kind of like a kid, and then he continues to mature and grow. And in addition to this like childlike innocence, there's all these other dynamics that come into play because he is like biotech and not a person. So he's dealing with like navigating that identity and how to interact with other people and learning about what the world is and everything you learn all at the same time. So that was really like sweet and sometimes sad to read about. And then the setting itself is pretty much the same as Dead Astronauts, where it's this like post-climate, sort of post-apocalypse nightmare hellscape, but the people who are living it, that's just reality for them, which is in some ways really sad because it's like they don't even know how far the world has fallen, but in some ways weirdly encouraging, seeing the perseverance of humanity and how we can adapt to anything and just keep going. But then also that makes it a little sad because it's like maybe if we fought harder to keep things nice instead of just adapting as they got worse and worse, this situation in the book wouldn't have happened in the first place. And it touches on that a little bit, like when the main character is reflecting on why the world is the way it is, and she's thinking back to a time when things were a little bit better. She's like, oh, there used to be way more people, but they didn't fight as hard for things that mattered, even though they knew they were going wrong. It's just weird to think about, and it makes you think about things happening now. Like, I just read a really sad news story that a bunch of penguins died because the ice cap melted. Like, I know that there are things being done, but when you read books like this, it makes you think, like, are we doing enough? Or, like, are we holding the right people accountable, you know? So I like the book for that. You guys know I'm always trying to find books that make me think about things I don't always think about or see things in a different way. And this book definitely did that. Like, not only did it have me reflecting on, you know, what is our obligation to the planet and each other, but also what is a person? Like, what makes someone a peer versus like a creation? I don't know. Really interesting. Like, how bad can a person be before they're beyond redemption? Or like, if you knew the person when they did something wrong versus meeting them after they've corrected who they are, is it on you to change the way you see them when you learn that? You know, it's like all these good questions, and it was just equal parts sad and encouraging and then crazy. You know, it was like a bit of a sci-fi, but then also more of like a abstract thought experiment. I really enjoyed it. The cover art was super cool. I'm definitely going to be reading more of this author's work because it seems like, from what I've seen, a lot of it follows the same vein. And it's exciting, like finding a whole new author. Like the last author that I read and was like, oh, I have to read everything that they've written was N.K. Jemisin. So finding another one so soon has been really good. And that's why I've been excited to do more reading this year and just find out what I've been missing. There's so many books. Like, it's amazing. So yeah, I definitely would recommend this book. I don't want to get too much more into it because I don't want to spoil it. Like, it really is a roller coaster in the best way. Yeah, I loved it. And like I said, I don't think that there is a right or wrong way to read these two books. Whichever you like best, because they are both so strange, and I love it. Okay, that's it.